Hi, my name is Becca. Today we will discuss ways to avoid financial schemes, such as Ponzi schemes and other questionable and illegal practices. Fraud is certainly not an investment strategy, but bubbles attract fraudulent schemers as well as investors and speculators. A loss of market efficiency and signs of greater investor irrationality attract conmen to the markets. It is easier to convince a mark of the credibility and viability of a fraudulent scheme when there is general prosperity, rising asset values, and lower perceived risks. For example, during the post-World War I expansion and stock bubble of the 1920s, Charles Ponzi created the first Ponzi scheme, a variation of the classic pyramid scheme. The pyramid scheme creates returns from new members' deposits rather than from the real earnings in the market. The originator gets a number of people to invest, each of whom recruits more, and so on. The money from each group of the investors, however, rather than being invested, is used to pay returns to the previous group of investors. The scheme is uncovered when there are not enough returns to go around. Thus, the originator and early investors may get rich, while the later investors lose all their money. During the prosperity of the 1980s, 1990s, and 2000s, the American financier Bernard Madoff notoriously ran a variation of the Ponzi scheme. His fraud, costing investors around the world billions of dollars, lasted through several stock bubbles and real estate bubble before being exposed in 2008. Fraud can be perpetuated at the corporate level as well. Enron Corporation was an innovator in developing markets for energy, commodities such as oil, natural gas, and electricity. Its image was of a model corporation that encouraged bright thinkers to go outside the box. Unfortunately, that ethos of innovation took a wrong turn when several of its corporate officers conspired to hide the company's investment risks from the financing complicated subsidiaries that existed off-balance sheet. In the fall of 2001, with investor confidence shaken by the dot-com bust and the post-9/11 deepening of the recession, the fraud began to unravel. By the time the company declared bankruptcy, its stock value was less than $1 per share, and its major corporate officers were under indictment and later convicted for fraud. How can you avoid fraud? Unfortunately, there are no foolproof rules. You can be alert to the investment advisor who pushes a particular investment. You can do your own research and gather as much independent information on the investment as possible. The best advice, however, may come from the adage, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. The capital markets are full of buyers and sellers of capital who are serious traders. The chances are extremely slim that any one of them has discovered a market inefficiency undiscoverable by others and exploitable only by him or her. There is too much at stake.